Good afternoon, folks. This is Wild Will coming to you again from over here in Ranger, Texas. I posted a picture of an old journal entry of mine on Facebook earlier today, and a good friend of mine named Matt Coleman, he commented that he couldn't read it, and a lot of you that know him know why. But so I decided I'd just read it aloud here so that him and anybody else could read it, hear what it says. I go back and read my old journal entries from time to time. It's so interesting to journal and go back and read and see some of the things that you may have been dealing with or praying about, some of the dreams that you had, and to see where you are now compared to then. And then sometimes, as in today, it's just good old-fashioned humor, brings back good memories of when my kids were younger. And so I'm going to read this one, and then in that story it mentions a friend of mine who is named Ronnie Seaburn, and he just passed away a couple of months ago at a young age of 47 years old, and I've been wanting to kind of do a tribute to him anyways, and something that he taught me in some of the worst spot in his life. He was still able to teach me and give me wisdom that's been able to carry me through and over mountains in my life. But I'm going to just read to you this journal entry of mine from February 5th, 2011. I wrote, "Well, it's been cold here this past week. It hadn't been over about 20 degrees for most of the week. Not much going on. I have continued hanging sheetrock in the Winset house, poco a poco, which means little by little. I am encouraged to see so much getting done there. Last Saturday, Ronnie Seaburn rounded up 3 of our friends, and we all worked hanging sheetrock and wiring. It kind of got me jump-started. The weather has been like something in Wisconsin. I've had to bust the ice on the tanks. My wife Pepper videoed me and the kids walking on water as the tank was froze over about 6 inches thick. You could see where one of our cows had walked across the tank on one end. We've had a baby calf in the laundry room all week. The water lines in the house have been froze, so no baths all week other than one sponge bath and about 2 inches of water heated on the stove. Bailey and Jade were eating snow off the barbecue pit in the backyard and got their tongues stuck to it. Jade's wasn't stuck very bad, but Bailey pulled some meat off of his. The next day they showed me the pieces of his tongue still frozen to the metal. I said, "Well, why didn't you get Jade to pour some warm water on it?" Bailey said, "I was trying to tell him to get some water, but he couldn't understand me, so I finally just pulled real hard." Man, what funny stuff. My kids are a hoot. They give me so much joy, and I laugh at them so much. But in reading that, it reminded me of when Ronnie Seaburn come over and brought friends to help me work on this old house. When I got this old house that we live in now, folks, it was a guy had been raising quail in it. And it was, you know, you can imagine, it was a foot deep in quail crap, and it was just all but destroyed. But the old bones of the house, to me, were worth restoring, and so I had fell in and began to work on it, but didn't have any money, was working trying to keep the kids fed, and you know, buy materials and scrounge up materials and time to be able to work on the house, and I had stripped it completely down to nothing, and I needed to rewire it. I needed new windows, new doors, new fixtures, new toilets, new every single thing new except for the studs in the walls. Needless to say, I was overwhelmed. I had this old friend of mine named Ronnie Seaburn come by, and we weren't real close, but I'd known him for years, and Ronnie had led a pretty rough old lifestyle like I have. But you know, he was such a good man, and he come over just out of the goodness of his heart to help me work on this old house 2 or 3 times. And one day he came over, and I was at such a point of you know, just being overwhelmed that I had so many projects that needed doing on the remodel project of this house that I almost didn't even know where to start. And Ronnie said something to me that I did in fact use and apply that to the remodeling of this home that we live in all these years later, but also I've applied it to so many things in my life since then, and shared it with so many friends of mine, whether they're dealing with recovery or or just financial issues, or remodeling a home, or rebuilding a ranch, or fences after a flood, whatever it is. Ronnie said to me, as I was standing there looking at all the things that needed done on that old remodel, Ronnie said, "Hey, Will, don't look at it as such a big job." He said, "Look at it as a whole bunch of little bitty jobs." He looked at me and he said, "You can do a little job, can't you?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I can." He said, "Well, pick you one out and do it. Get done with it, pick you another out and do it. Don't let it overwhelm you," is what he was saying to me. You know, I began to apply what he said to me that day there, and I did. I just picked out one little bitty project, maybe in just an hour at a time, something that I knew I could accomplish, and got it done, and then moved to another one. And you know, whether it's in recovery or coming out of an alcohol problem, or broken homes, broken marriages, restructuring your life after a financial ruin, or maybe the floods washed all your cattle off, or your broncs off, or somebody stole your business, or whatever it is. You know, God gives us an amazing ability to be resilient and to overcome obstacles in our life. And you know, Ronnie's wisdom that he shared with me that day, when I sat in his funeral a couple of months ago at 47 years old, he died way too young to me. You know, I miss him, miss being around him. He was such a joyful person. But man, that truth and that wisdom that he gave me that day needed to be shared with those people that love him, those people that remember him, and then just anybody of you out there in Facebook world, and my reach here on this old webcam. You know, just if life's got you down, if things are whooping on you, whatever it might be, don't look at it as such a big job. Don't let it overwhelm you. Pick you out a little bitty job that you can accomplish, even if it's just one day or 1 hour at a time, and get that done. Set it aside, pick you out another, and get it done. Amen. I hope that's been a blessing to you, and I thank God for my friend Ronnie Sebring sharing that with me, and hope you got a chuckle out of my old journal entry from back in 2011. Y'all have a blessed day. Amen.